everyone, hope you are good and be happy always. Once again, welcome to Shachi's Academy and we will discuss part 2 of chapter 7. We have already discussed part 1 of this chapter in which we have discussed many concepts related to employment and unemployment, and now we will discuss the rest half of it, that is part 2. So here, first of all, we will discuss what is unemployment. Unemployment is a situation when people are able and willing to work at existing wage rates but do not get work. That means level of job provisions are low in your economy. You are able to work, that means you are fully skilled, you are educated, you have training, everything, and you are willing to work at existing prices or wages or salaries that is there in your economy, but you are not getting any job or employment. That is the condition of unemployment in your economy. Then types of unemployment in your syllabus. Basically 2 types of unemployment have been discussed, but there are other types also. The main types are disguised unemployment, seasonal unemployment, cyclical, frictional and structural types of unemployment. We will discuss these 2, disguised unemployment and seasonal unemployment. Why? Because here agriculture is the main focus of your chapter. What is disguised unemployment? Previously in your first part of this chapter we have discussed disguised unemployment is a type of unemployment where a task or a work requires lesser number of people but more are engaged. For example, we took in our part 1, that is there is a field of 10 bigha in which only 1 person is required but 4 or 5 are engaged in that field. That means 4 of them out of 5 are superfluous or extra or surplus labor. If they are taken away or withdrawn from that field, productivity will remain intact or unaffected. That means they are extra and they are not employed there for real. They are there only for namesake. That means they are not contributing any productivity in that field and eating away that productivity. That means they are extra. There is no need for them to get employment over there. They can get employment elsewhere and earn something, some money and add productivity to the nation. That means it is hidden unemployment. It is not visible but it is there. People seem to be employed but they are in reality unemployed. Okay. For example, in your kitchen also, if you are making food for 4 people and all the family members are engaged in making that, preparing that food for or dinner for night, that means only 1 person could have made that and others could have done other household chores or any office work or something else, but all are engaged in kitchen only, but only 1 is required. That means 3 are additional over there, 3 are surplus. In the same manner, where more people are engaged in some work and lesser number of people are required, so the extra people are disguisedly unemployed over there. Then seasonal unemployment. In India, agriculture is seasonal and that means only in a particular season your crops are grown, and for the rest of the season, for the rest of the months of the year, farmers remain unemployed, and that is called seasonal unemployment. Here agriculture in India is seasonal. During off season the farm workers do not get jobs. Farmers who grow 1 crop remain jobless for 5 to 7 months, and this is called your seasonal unemployment. Cyclical unemployment is the type of unemployment which happens in your industries due to business cycles. You might have heard like recession is there or depression is there, and due to these recessionary cycles unemployment is there and people lose their jobs, and that is called cyclical unemployment. Frictional, what is that? Suppose I have left my college job and I am searching for new job. Okay, I have already quit, I have resigned from my previous job and I am waiting at home for some new opportunity. For 2 months I was unemployed, and that is your called frictional unemployment. Then structural unemployment. It is due to structure of your economy. Take for example in India, maximum people are employed, they are still employed in agriculture, and that is structural employment. That means at least 25% of people who are engaged in agriculture are unemployed or disguisedly employed. This is structural employment. Then causes of unemployment in India. We have made a code for this. What is the Saral Dajal? This is very pretty code. You will remember it very easily. First reason, slow economic growth. economic growth of India is still quite slow and it's not generating enough job opportunities for Indians. Then agriculture is a seasonal occupation in India, and due to that, for subsistence months or at least for 5 to 7 months of a year, farmers remain unemployed in agricultural sector or in rural areas. Then rapid growth of population. Population is increasing like anything in India, and we have reached the top of the world and still we are counting on. So population is the main hurdle in our job generation or employment generation. Lack of irrigation facilities. Here the agriculture is still dependent on monsoon. It's a gamble of monsoon in India, and we don't have enough irrigation facilities to irrigate our fields or put water into our fields and grow good crops. And that's why our agricultural productivity is low. It does not add enough productivity to our gross domestic production. Then decay of cottage and small scale industries. These industries are slowly getting destroyed, and they are not getting replenished, and government is not helping them enough to get revived, and that is the reason people are losing jobs. And these cottage and small scale industries are responsible for providing maximum amount of jobs to Indians, because India is such a vast nation, and these industries can be done with decentralization, and they can be established anywhere with smaller amount of funds, and something should be done to generate employment through these industries. Joint family system in India is also responsible for your unemployment in India, because many people live without doing any work. They can be dependent on main family member, head of the family, and they can eat away, and for whole of life they can be dependent on them, and that is the reason for unemployment in India. Low savings and investment. We Indians have the habit of saving, but we don't have that amount of income. Still we are lagging in generation of income, and that is the reason that we are lacking in savings and investment. Limited mobility of labor. Labor in India is not mobile. We think at least 10 times before moving to some new place or getting some new employment, and that is also reason that wherever job opportunities are available, we don't move to those places, and we remain in our homes, in villages or towns or anywhere wherever we have been living since our birth, and we do not move to places where job is available. So this is also the reason that we are unemployed in many cases. Then government employment generation. So government is trying to generate, it endeavors to generate employment for Indians, and there are two types of schemes in India. This is existing employment generation programs. That means they are existing but they are non-active presently. Okay. The second category is existing programs presently active. So we have existing employment generation programs. A category of them is presently non-active, and others are active right now. Let's discuss. Existing employment generation programs, but they are non-active. Right now they are not operational, and the code for that is PSR, PS or PASR, PAS. You can call it anyway, and you can memorize this whole all these schemes through this code. P for Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, PMRY, then S for Swarna Jayanti Yojana. Likewise, we have other schemes, and we can just remember them with the help of this code. You need to practice this code for twice or thrice, and we will memorize them all. Okay, let's discuss them one by one. Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana, it was started in 1993. It was first program for self-employment of educated and unemployed people in urban areas. So it was meant for educated people who were unemployed in urban areas, that means cities and towns. The scheme provides a loan of up to rupees 1 lakh for opening one's own enterprise and rupees 2 lakh for other activities. Okay, so this is assistance program by the government. Then we have Swarna Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana. This Yojana was launched on December 1, 1997. The objective of this Yojana is to provide self-employment or wage employment to urban, unemployed or underemployed persons. So unemployed and underemployed. What is that? Unemployed means who does not have employment for the whole month or whole time period. But underemployed is a person who has employment, but it is not full employment, or a person is not engaged for whole month. He may be engaged for 5 days, 10 days, 20 days for a month, but for rest of the days he is unemployed. Okay, so this is underemployed. Okay, so for these type of people this Yojana was meant, and it provided assistance for employment. Then rural employment generation program. This program was launched on 1 April 1995. It mainly aims at self-employment opportunities in small towns and villages. So it was meant for rural areas. The scheme provides loans up to rupees 25 lakhs. So this is very good scheme. That means it is giving you substantial amount of loan. That is 25 lakhs is a very big amount. Then to rural artisans, entrepreneurs to set up their own enterprise. So it was for rural areas, and 25 lakhs were given to artisans or entrepreneurs who wanted to set up their own business and do some production and provide employment. The Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, this scheme was started in 2008. It aims at providing an assistance of rupees 25 lakhs for setting up a manufacturing enterprise and rupees 10 lakhs in service sector. So manufacturing, that means industrial sector, secondary sector, and here it is service sector. So for industry, opening an industry or starting an industry, rupees 25 lakhs loan was provided, and for service sectors like BPO, KPO or any service center type of a thing, 10 lakh rupees were provided as loan to start their new business. Then we have Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. This Yojana was launched in 1999. Under this program, a large number of small enterprises were established in rural areas. So this scheme was also meant for rural areas and generation of employment and decentralization of industries in rural areas. So it was creating a base of industries in your rural areas. Then we have existing programs presently active. That means they are in reality functioning right now also, and this can be availed for help as well by entrepreneurs or the aspirants of India who are unemployed and who want to own any business, etc. Then Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, Manrega. This is an employment program which provides employment for 100 days. The National Rural Livelihood Mission, then Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Let's discuss them. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Program, that is Manrega, that is, it was launched in 2005. Under this act, all those who are willing to work at the minimum wage are offered work for minimum period of 100 days. So it provides a minimum employment for 100 days in 1 year for people at minimum wage rate. Those seeking employment are to report in those rural areas where the employment program is being launched. So government launches some employment program like digging a canal, making roads, construction of bridges, construction of highways, etc. So this type of works are organized over there, and people from nearby rural areas who are located in the nearby vicinity come, get them registered and get employment at minimum wage rates for at least 100 days. The National Rural Livelihood Mission, this scheme is also known as Ajivika. NRLM is expected to provide self-employment to 90 lakh persons. The program has now been renamed as Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. So it has been renamed after Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji. Then Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. It was launched in December 2000. It aimed for a single all-weather road connectivity to unconnected areas. That means Pakka road, concrete road was to be constructed, and it also aimed to provide employment through construction of roads. So construction of roads was one thing, and it provided employment through this construction of roads as well. There are some recent initiatives by the government, and for that the code is APP, A-P-P and D-P-P. You can just frame these codes with the help of these initials. A, Atmanirbhar, P for Pradhan Mantri, again P for Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, then D for Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antyodaya Yojana, P again for Pradhan Mantri and again for Pradhan Mantri. But you can just differentiate with Mudra Yojana, Kaushal Yojana. So you will have to practice these codes and you can memorize them all. Okay, so we have these yojanas. Then let's discuss them one by one. Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana. It was launched by government in 2020. It gave incentives to employers to create employment during COVID-19 pandemic. It is very important. See, if you have a factory, if you have an organization, and then at that time when people incurred losses during COVID-19 because markets were not operational, nothing was selling, and people were really incurring huge losses in business. So normally people shut down their businesses, but government came forward to help these employers, these factory owners. It gave money to them, it provided assistance to them so that they could run their factories, they could run their organization and provide employment to people during COVID-19 pandemic. So it was for the help of employers or entrepreneurs or businessmen. Then Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Protsahan Yojana. This Yojana was launched on April 1st, 2016. Like ABRY, this also gave incentive to employers to create new employment for people. So it was for assistance for employers, factory owners, businessmen, entrepreneurs, etc. Then Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana Abhiyan. It was 125-day Abhiyan launched by the Prime Minister on 20th June 2020. It was launched for returning migrant workers of rural areas due to COVID-19. During COVID-19 pandemic, people were stranded on roads. They did not have employment, and so they moved back to their villages. And during that tough time, during this pandemic of COVID-19, government provided this scheme to be launched for returning migrant workers and provide them employment. Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, it was called National Urban Livelihoods Mission, NULM. Okay, so it was renamed as Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. So it may come in your MCQs also. You may get in MCQs in exams. So remember that it aimed to reduce poverty of urban poor households. So here reduce is twice. So delete this term. It is only once. Help them for self-employment and skilled wage employment. So it was meant for skilled wage earners. That means skilled people who had training of some sort or who possessed skill of some sort were provided help during that. Then Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. This scheme was launched by Honorable Prime Minister on April 8, 2015. It aimed to provide loans up to rupees 10 lakh to the small and micro enterprises. So it was for starting new businesses or existing businesses who were small or micro level. These loans are classified as Mudra loans under PMMY. These loans are given by commercial banks, regional rural banks, small finance banks, MFIs, that is microfinance institutions, and NBFCs, that is non-banking financial corporations. So remember that Mudra loans are given by all these banks for the assistance of people, for assistance of small or micro enterprises, so they can revive their business with that or help it grow and diversify their business and earn more profits and provide employment to people. So this was its aim. Then we have Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. This is a scheme of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, MSDE. It is implemented by National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC. It is a skill certification program. So this is done by NSDC, and through this they provide you training and give you a certificate for that. And by having that certificate and showing it to some organization, you can get job, and it trains you to get better livelihood and employment. Thank you so much. See, this chapter has been completed now. We have discussed all the employment generation programs that have been existing, that are right now existing, and some of the schemes are new initiatives of Government of India for the provision of employment in India to increase the growth rate of employment in India. So it's a nice initiative. We all should commend that, but we all have to get skill also and reduce the level of employment in India, and of course contribute in reducing population of India so that our resources can be enough for us. So thank you so much. Take care. God bless you. Take care. Work hard.